Hello and welcome to this special edition of Watch World Cup 2014. It's our first episode in the middle of the World Cup and this is Talk Group Stage. I'm Oliver Eaton. I'm also joined by my co-host and brother, Corey Eaton.
Okay, so today we go back to our predictions and we look at group tables. We talk about the results and predict the final.
Oh yes, and we're starting with going back to our predictions and looking at all the results. So moving on to the first group, it's Group A. Okay, so Corey, remind us what 4 teams we did actually have in Group A.
Okay, so we have a host Brazil, we had Mexico, Croatia and Cameroon.
And of course the table is on the screen. Of course Brazil 7 points, Mexico 7 points, Croatia 3 and Cameroon with a measly 0. Now going back to predictions in the Group A video, if you haven't watched any videos, hopefully there should be a link on the screen to the playlist. Group A, we actually predicted the table right. We predicted first Brazil, second Mexico, third Croatia and fourth Cameroon. So not bad predicting there. Let's go down to the individual results. Of course, the first ever goal in the World Cup was an own goal.
Yeah, by Marcelo.
And I couldn't help but cheer, really, for Croatia there. However, Brazil came back, wonderful goals from Neymar and Oscar.
Yeah.
And was the Neymar getting the penalty as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they came back to a great 3-1 win there to get Brazil's first 3 points and Croatia to the bottom of the table. The first game for Mexico was a 1-0 victory over Cameroon. Then Brazil v Mexico. Now this was a really interesting game as we did watch it. Mexico's keeper, Cora.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the best I've seen in a while. Brazil shot after shot. They just couldn't get past him.
Great saves as well, wasn't they?
Yeah. So that game ended 0-0, meaning Mexico and Brazil were drawing at the top with 4 points. Croatia, however, had a brilliant game against Cameroon, winning by 4-0. Then it was Cameroon v Brazil. Brazil kind of following in the footsteps of Croatia, winning 4-1 against Cameroon, and Croatia was unlucky and lost 3-1 against the Mexicans, meaning that is the results for that group. So any results out of them 6 games, are you shocked about, Corey, in this group?
Well, I'm shocked by that own goal. That first ever World Cup goal just had to be an own goal.
I know. Now there's a lot of first things in that game. Of course, first own goal was the actual first goal, the first penalty awarded, and yeah, it was a good game. I think my shocking moment is probably the Brazil-Mexico game. A lot expected Mexico to be beaten by at least 1 or 2 goals. However, you know, the defence and the keeper, especially the keeper for Mexico, was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And I hope Mexico do go on to get far with the playing skills they've done, as well as Brazil. Okay, just keeping it, trying to keep it short, but trying to go in detail. Now this group I think is the most exciting group we have known in time for shocks.
Yeah.
And that is Group B. As you can see, Corey, what 4 teams do we have?
Okay, we've got Australia, Chile, Spain and the Netherlands.
Okay, so the table looked like this. Australia with 0 points, pretty much expected. Now this was the biggest shock. Spain,
Yeah.
3 points. Chile, 6, and of course Netherlands with 9. Now the results, Spain, they just had shocks all the way through this World Cup.
Yeah.
It first started off with Chile versus Australia. Australia, you know, they are the worst ranked team in the whole competition. Chile, they had been mathematically worked out to win the World Cup. Early mathematically, you know, using science and that. They was a 3-1 victory over Australia. Then it's Netherlands v Spain, the repeat of the 2010 final.
Yeah.
Cora, remind us what happened.
Well, Spain had a penalty and they went 1-0 up. And then suddenly there's an equaliser after a diving header from Van Persie.
Robin Van Persie, lovely diving header that.
Yeah.
Just before the half-time, then the goals just started coming for Netherlands, and Arjen Robben, what's the keeper called again? Is it Casillas or something? I don't know what world he was on in that game, and it was just a really bad game for him. And I think Spain, I don't know what's happened to them this World Cup. They've gone downhill. And they did eventually lose 5-1 against the Netherlands. In the second games, Netherlands against Australia, this was third v first. Netherlands only just came back to win 3-2, as it was quite a close game there between Netherlands and the worst ranked team. And then here's another shocking score involving Spain again. Chile 2, Spain 0. What is happening with Spain here?
Chile, they're on top form, winning 2-0. So shocking.
Now this is what I believe, especially England. I don't want to dedicate this whole show to England, because I don't deserve it, but unlike England, Chile have got speed and young players. And that's what could win them games. Spain have got, they've got brilliant players, don't get me wrong. They've done brilliantly winning the Euros twice as well as the World Cup. However, it just was not their year this year. I don't know what happened. I think there was saying that their type of football's kind of gone outdated now. But yeah, Spain 0, Chile 2. Then Spain brought it around at the end against the worst ranked team, 3-0 to Spain, and then the deciding game to see who would top was Netherlands 2, Chile 0. So we've pretty much got the shocking moments in this group, Corey. Anything else you want to add about Group B?
Yeah, just so shocking. Absolutely shocking. Spain, wow. 2010 World Cup, was Italy who went out, was shocking.
Oh yeah, that's another fact. I think Spain are the 5th team or 4th team to go out at group stage after being the World Cup reigners. And here they go again, just like Italy in 2010. Spain go crashing out. Luckily not in last, they got the 3 points, but it weren't good enough. And it is a shame to see them down there. And just realised it was the best ranked team and the worst ranked team going out, crashing out of Group B. And, well, Spain are out. That's the most shocking thing, and it's pretty much buggered up all of our predictions. Sorry about the predictions, I actually forgot about them. This is what we predicted. Spain first, Netherlands second, Chile third, Australia fourth. As I see, we've got Australia was the only team we got right in that group, with Spain being the most wrong out of them all. Okay, so going on to Group C. Get my notes. So Group C, Corey, what teams did we have in Group C?
Okay, so we've got Japan, Ivory Coast, Greece and Colombia.
Okay. So our overall predictions for this group was Colombia first, Greece second, Ivory Coast third, and Japan fourth. And as you can see, we got it right again! Way! So all them commenters who said we're stupid, yes, we may be in other things, but predicting, nope. Unless it's Spain. So yeah, Colombia came first with 9 points, Greece second, only just, oh man, we'll come to that game in a minute, Greece v Ivory Coast, and Japan last with 1 point. So going to the individual results, Colombia kick-started their wonderful campaign with a 3-0 victory over Greece. Then it was Ivory Coast 2, Japan 1. Colombia then crashed against Ivory Coast. Oh, sorry. He finished 2-1 to Colombia, meaning they got 6. And Ivory Coast only had the 3. Japan and Greece ended 0-0, unfortunately for them. But then Japan 1, Colombia 4 was the end game. But this is the game what was probably one of the closest games in there. Greece 2, Ivory Coast 1. What happened in that game, Cora?
Okay, so well, first of all, Greece scored to make it 1-0, and then Ivory Coast equalised, and then Greece got the winning goal to make it 2-1.
Yeah, in more detail towards that game, it was pretty much Greece's side until they scored, and it was just Ivory Coast attacking. They eventually got a sweaty goal, as we call them here in the UK and probably America. Nice simple goal, but yeah, it was a penalty in the last minute, what cost Ivory Coast their group titles, and it's a shame there for Ivory Coast. That's close, but yeah, no cigar, which I'm pretty peed off about, because Ivory Coast are the team I was given at school, and of course they went crashing out. Okay, so that was Group C. Moving on to Group D, and now this one is probably the most shocking results of a league table, and I'm not talking about England, okay? Because hey, right, Corey, remind me what teams we had in Group D.
So of course we had England, Italy, Uruguay and Costa Rica.
Okay, now our predictions, everyone predicted Costa Rica to come fourth. What the hell happened in this group, Corey? What the hell?
I know.
Costa Rica first, second Uruguay, third Italy, fourth England. Boo! But oh well. Costa Rica, we have to talk about Costa Rica. What the heck?
Maybe a group of death as well for Costa Rica.
Well, Costa Rica was, with the teams in this group, Uruguay, Italy, England, of course everyone will assume Costa Rica definitely last. They're not as good as Uruguay, Italy or England as we thought at the time. However, messages started ringing around on the first game Costa Rica had. We'll come to that in a minute. Of course, Costa Rica and Uruguay going through. Italy and England going crashing out. Italy going out for the second time in a row. Our predictions for this group were completely different. We said Italy first, England second, Uruguay third, and Costa Rica a definite fourth. And I can even remember a quote I said in the Group D video. Everyone has got an easy 3 points. How very much wrong was I? Going through the results for Group D. This is the most shocking result. Uruguay 1, Costa Rica 3.
Shocking, man. Shocking.
And of course, that was like, oh yeah, Costa Rica got a good result. They shouldn't beat Italy or anything. Us against Italy, of course, ended 2-1. And I thought England did really play well in that game. Oh yeah, I thought they played alright. Yeah, it's a lose. We could get them back on the team. We just lost against Costa Rica. Then England against Uruguay. 2-1 to Uruguay. Suarez, because Slippy G or Steven Gerrard headed it straight to him.
And Suarez blasted it straight in the back of the net.
Well, at least the only good thing about that game was Wayne Rooney scored his first goal.
Yeah.
So I think we should give 5 seconds of clap to Wayne Rooney. Okay, that's probably his last World Cup he'll ever play. Just say it. Okay, so yeah, it was 2-1 to Uruguay, meaning England needed Italy to win Costa Rica to give England still a chance to keep in the World Cup. Then this happened. Costa Rica are coming towards the goal, and it's in! Costa Rica 1, Italy 0. Oh dear. England are out of the World Cup. Oh, for God's sake. Italy lose to Costa Rica. Costa Rica go up 6 points. And we had the danger. Well, we was out. And we knew that the game coming up was Costa Rica v England. Oh, crap. They've beaten Italy. They've beaten Uruguay. We were the... Out of all the games against Costa Rica, England did the best against Costa Rica. Getting 0-0 draw. A point each. It wasn't good enough for England. At least the trip wasn't pointless. Uruguay v Italy. Now that game not only will be remembered for the 1-0 victory, but because one big moment happened in that game, Cora.
Yeah. Well, Suarez biting a beat TV after he'd done it 2 times before, and he did it again.
Of course, as this recording is happening, we don't actually know how much he's been banned by, or if he's even suspended. I'm sure he will be. But yep, Suarez strikes again. I can't believe him, to be honest. How he could do that again, it's unexplainable, really. Suarez in that group, and I think that's pretty much it for that group. Should we wrap it up and go to Group E? Okay, let's go to Group E. Okay, so nice, kind of close group towards the end. Corey, what happened?
Okay, so in Group E we had Honduras, Ecuador, Switzerland and France.
Okay, so our overall predictions for this group was, it's Group E, France first, Switzerland second, Ecuador third, Honduras fourth. And once again we got it right again.
Yay.
Meaning that's 3 out of 5 right for our predictions. Because table ended France with 7 points, Switzerland with 6, and then Ecuador with 4, and Honduras a horrible 0, which is a shame. However, they had a tough group, and we pretty much predicted Switzerland and France to go through.
Yeah.
Going through some of the results now. First game was Switzerland versus Ecuador. Switzerland winning a nice 2-1 victory. Then France 3, Honduras 0. That game was probably one of the most violent games I've seen Honduras play. Which it was a shame for Honduras to go crashing out 3-0 there, but it's a shame. Honduras then lost 2-1 against Ecuador. And France v Switzerland. Now that was a pretty good game there. France 5, Switzerland 2. I don't know what happened really there. I think, was it 5-1 at one point, and then Switzerland got a last minute goal. Then Honduras were back to losing ways, losing 3-0 to Switzerland, to Ecuador, and France's 0-0. Of course, Ecuador in the last game needed to win by 2 goals to qualify. However, it wasn't good enough for them in Group E.
But I had some good chances though, didn't they?
Yeah. It was overall that group, it was pretty one-sided, that group. Ecuador had a chance. They kind of blew it against Switzerland. You know, they had only 1 goal. They did well against France, getting draw, and it's unfortunate for Ecuador that they could go crashing out like that. In some cases 4 points could be good enough to go up, but unfortunately in this case it isn't. Going on to Group F. What teams did we have in Group F, Corey?
Okay, you had Iran, Bosnia, Nigeria and Argentina.
Now, straight away, Argentina. They've got probably the easiest group against. No offence to any of the other fans, but come on, Argentina had an easy group for the teams they was against.
Yeah.
We did predict Argentina first, which of course is right. They got 9 points. Second, Bosnia and Herzegovina. I can't say, sorry. Herzegovina. I'm just going to call them Bosnia and Hertz. Of course, Bosnia and Hertz did finish third with 3 points, which is good for their first ever World Cup.
Yeah.
World Cup. We predicted Nigeria third and Iran fourth. We got Iran right and Argentina right. So yeah, Argentina and Nigeria go up, Cora.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first game was Bosnia against Argentina, and Argentina, of course, winning 2-1. Nigeria and Iran, quite a boring game, 0-0 draw. And I believe that was the first ever draw of the whole competition. Argentina against Iran. Was that the last minute goal where it just booted in the back of the net by Messi? 1-0 victory. Anyway, Bosnia then was was announced that they're out with a 1-0 lose against Nigeria. Then it was Argentina versus Nigeria. Very, very close game indeed. 1-0 Argentina, then an equaliser from Nigeria. Then a second goal for Argentina, then another equaliser before Argentina went ahead with a great goal to win 3-2. And Bosnia was to winning ways, their first World Cup win, which is quite a good achievement for a team just getting into it with a nice 3-1 win against Iran. Overall, Corey, is there any shocks throughout this group? I don't think there really was.
No.
In this group, really. Argentina were predicted first. It was really a fight for second, and I think Nigeria did deserve that spot. Bosnia I would have liked to see in there, however, you know, they could try and work on and try and qualify for the next group, hopefully. Okay, so moving on to Group G. Corey, can you remind me what teams we did have in Group G?
Okay, so we had Ghana, Portugal, USA and Germany.
And for the league table, we've got Germany and USA going through with 7 and 4 points. It was goal difference actually separating USA and Portugal. If Portugal hadn't had that heavy defeat against Germany, they may be going through. Ghana, of course, in last place with 1 point. Now, our predicted finish for this group was Germany first, Portugal second, Ghana third, USA fourth. So we got Germany right, but all the rest wrong. Pretty much wrong. Right, so going through the results of the group, of course the first game was USA v Ghana, 2-1 USA. Was that pretty much the score what you could have predicted, Cor?
Yeah.
Now this was a shocking result here. Germany 4, Portugal 0. What happened on that game, Cor?
Well, it was shocking. Well, first of all, it was a great goal to make it 1-0 to Germany, and then suddenly Portugal's equalised to make it 1-1, but...
What? I didn't know Portugal scored, it was just 4-0.
4-0 then.
Okay, Corey's kind of forgotten it already.
Yeah.
So Germany really on side of that game, and that knocked Portugal right into the bottom of the table. Germany v Ghana ended 2-2, which was pretty good going for Ghana to say where they are in the league, in the table. Then it was USA 2, Portugal 2 as well. So they all got a point each in that section. Then Portugal 2, Ghana 1, but it was not good enough because USA had to lose by a massive defeat, which early lost 1-0 to Germany, meaning it was USA in second. Anything shocking about this group then, Corey? Because we did predict USA to be last.
Yeah, shocking how they got through and Portugal are out.
Yeah, I really did think USA played well in their games. Portugal, they were just all over the place, and you know, they got unnecessary red cards, and you know, they just weren't a good side this time like England. So at least we could say that England has done as good as Portugal and Spain. Okay, moving on to the final group is Group H.
Okay, so we have South Korea, Russia, Algeria and Belgium.
And the table shows Belgium with maximum points at the top. Algeria managing to claim the second place spot after beating Russia. Wait, no, they didn't beat Russia. Yes, they did, sorry. I think they drew. Yeah, they drew 1-1. Then Russia and South Korea are at the bottom. Early just. Belgium, of course, full 9 points. Our predictions were Belgium to come first, Russia second, third Algeria and fourth South Korea. So we got kind of half the table right. It was just Algeria and Russia. Which for some of the game, Russia were in the second place spot. But the scores went Belgium 2 or Algeria 1. Russia 1, Korea 1. Korea 2, Algeria 4. Belgium 1, Russia 0. Algeria 1, Russia 1. And Korea 0, Belgium 1. So that's how that group went out. It was a tough group to predict this one. We knew that it was going to be Belgium coming first. Like I said, I think on the on prediction videos, I said just see how it plays out for the second place spot, because it is really close between all them 4 teams. And as you can see, there was only a point margin of 3 between South Korea and getting a qualifying place. And I think Algeria were lucky. They got a good result against South Korea with the 4-2 or 4-1 victory. So I think Algeria do deserve it for an African nation to go through with the Belgium.
Okay, now let's go to the teams who are out.
Okay, of course, wiped out. They're all in order of the groups. We say goodbye to Croatia, Cameroon from Group A, Then this is the first shocking team. Spain are going out, and Australia. Then Ivory Coast and Japan. Italy, another shocker team, and England. I'm not surprised, to be honest. Then Ecuador and Honduras. Bosnia and Iran. Portugal and Ghana and Russia and South Korea. So it's a shame to see some of these countries go. You know, we had some good football. Not really from England. But I think out of all them teams, the team what deserved to go through was Italy. And it's a shame they didn't get through. And Bosnia, they played some good games. But unfortunately, even Croatia got a 4-0 win against Cameroon, but that was not good enough to keep them in to the table. Anyway, let's see what teams are through now. As you see on your screen now, how they're together is their games, and they're in the ZEC order, so like quarters, you know, whoever wins will move on. And this is where we predict, Corey, right until the finals. So let's see, look at first game, Brazil versus Chile. Corey, what's your thoughts on this fixture?
Well, I think it's going to be quite close, but I think Brazil just go again like a 1-0 victory over Chile.
Yeah, people underestimated Chile, but they've played brilliant football. I think I described sort of their, like, the difference to other teams like England early in the video. I think Chile will fight for this spot through, but Brazil probably will be the likely winners. I don't want them to be the winners. Well, that's a bit cruel, isn't it? I would like Chile to go through, you know, have them a chance at the semis and quarters, but I think it's going to be Brazil for that fixture. Colombia versus Uruguay, this is a tough one. Of course, you have to remember there will be no Suarez. And, well, Corey, what are your thoughts for Colombia v Uruguay?
Well, it's going to be proper close here, but again, I think that Uruguay's going to get through probably about a 1-0 game again, because it's quite...
It's a close fixture, this one. Now, of course, whoever wins the Colombia and Uruguay game will go against whoever wins the Brazil and Chile game. So, out of them 4 teams, what was the 1-0 victory to in the Colombia game? What did you say? Who do you think won Colombia on?
Uruguay.
So, you're saying it's going to be Uruguay v Brazil for the quarter-final? As a semi. I think it's actually round of 16, then to the quarter-final. Yeah, it's quarter-final. So yeah, so who will win the Brazil and Uruguay game then? We'll come back to that later. The next game is Costa Rica versus Greece. 2 shocking teams to actually go through. What are your thoughts on this game?
Well, it's a good fixture, because they both did well in the World Cup, but after Costa Rica's performance is absolutely brilliant winning Italy and Uruguay, so I think Costa Rica's going to win versus Greece.
Yeah, I think for Costa Rica this could be a nice easy game. Well, not a nice easy game, because Greece is so tough opponents, is that even a word? Opposition then, and they do play well, fast football. And I think Costa Rica deserve how they broke out of their group in first and everything. I think they deserve to go through. However, they'll get knocked out next. I think both these teams will get knocked out against their next team, which is either Netherlands or Mexico. Mexico, of course, defending their game against Brazil, a 0-0 draw. Are Netherlands better than the Mercury?
Well, if Netherlands beat Spain 5-1, then it's depending about the goalkeeper from Mexico, because he did brilliant against Brazil.
I think this one will probably go into extra time. Then again, it could be completely different. It could be Netherlands completely thrashing the game. It's going to be a tough one, but I think coming out of this game as a winner, I think it will be Netherlands. And it'll be Netherlands v Costa Rica for the quarterfinals. And I don't know who, I think Netherlands will easily win that. And I think Brazil will easily win Uruguay. I mean, it'll be Brazil versus Netherlands in the semi-final. Going to the other side now, Algeria versus Germany. I think this is easily Germany's.
Yes.
Algeria, they're a good team, but I don't think they're good enough to beat the Germans this time, unless the Germans are having a bad day. Our next game, France v Nigeria.
I think France got to win that.
Yeah, Nigeria, good side, but I think France have got the better, meaning it'll be France v Germany in the quarterfinals. Okay, so last two fixtures. This is going to be a close game. Switzerland versus Argentina.
Yeah, it's going to be close, isn't it? But I think Argentina is going to win.
Yeah. Well, if Argentina do go through, they do face kind of an easy opponent. It's either Belgium or USA. I think for that game it will be Belgium getting the win. They play well. They didn't play well last night. Last night being the Russia game, I think. Was it Russia? No, South Korea, sorry. South Korea versus Belgium, but I don't really think USA will be good enough to defend against them.
Well, they just went through by goal difference.
Well, yeah, they were lucky to go through. But then again, they did have a tough game against Germany. Okay, so from there we see that it will be Germany versus France and Argentina v Belgium. So, who do you think will win them games then?
Well,
Germany v France first.
It's going to be close fixture. And, well,
I think the Germans will get past on that one.
Probably go through extra time.
Yeah, I don't know really. They've got kind of different playing styles. Like France tend to play in the middle as Germany try to spread out and go fast approach. Yeah. Argentina versus Belgium, I think will be Argentina. They've had reasonable good games of Argentina. You know, they've got the goals to get them through. I think Belgium will be outplayed that game.
Yeah.
And that means it'll be Germany versus Argentina for the semi-final and Brazil versus Netherlands. Who predicting to go in the final, Corey?
Okay, so for the Brazil and Netherlands game, I think it's going to be close, but I think Netherlands go to win for this. Because they're pretty brilliant, and I think they just go get through.
And for the Germany and Argentina game, I think Germany will get through. Yeah. And it'll be a good final, that. Germany v Netherlands. That would be a nice final. Yeah. Because if Germany do lose, they can fight for third place spot, which will be, at this point, if we stick to predictions, it'll be Argentina v Brazil. I think Brazil will get that, if they did. But yeah, Germany has got the third place spot twice in a row. Can they get it again? Hopefully not for them. They'll probably be fighting for the cup win. But it is going to be close. It is going to be a close couple of games. That's even if it goes that way. You know, we don't know what's going to happen. Chile might overcome Brazil. Uruguay may get thrashed by Colombia. You never know. But there are predictions. So we're predicting for the semi-finals. We'll go to semi-finals. Brazil v Netherlands and Germany versus Argentina. There's our four. Final is going to be Germany versus Netherlands and Brazil versus Argentina for third place. We'll see if we're right on our next show. Talking of our next show, let's actually find out when our next show is. Just going. And the next show is on Friday the 11th of July, where we look back at the finals. So this is the 2 rest days just before the World Cup final and third place final, and we look back over the quarterfinals, semi-finals and this round coming up to see if our predictions were right, if there was any more shocking moments, and ditto as I would say. And of course the final days is after the World Cup, where we pretty much sum the whole cup up. Yeah, there you go. We go back to our predictions, talk about the games and just sum up the whole World Cup basically, and end the series there. And that will be on the 14th of July, just 3 days after the video before. Okay, now some of you may have heard a big announcement coming to our channel about a new series, and we did leave a clue, a riddle for people to answer, which was sport can be electric. Now, I said then it's connotations of the title. So we are happy to announce a new series on our channel. This will be coming, as you see on your screen now, on Saturday the 2nd of August. It's our new football series. That's right, football, that's sport, can be electric. Shocker. It's Soccer Shocker. Please take your time to watch our very short trailer. That's right, that's Soccer Shocker now. Can't wait for that series. And we've been preparing for it quite a long time. And we're looking forward to the series, Corey. Yeah. Why should users watch it?
Well, probably because, well, it has like headbutts, fights, red cards, goals, just shocking moments of football. And, well, it's gonna be good, shocking moments.
Yeah, well, we've got tons of stuff packed in to, I don't know how long they'll be. We'll probably get like 3 shocking moments per episode, or 2 if they're long, and see how long it goes on for. That'll be weekly at Saturday, every Saturday from the 2nd. Okay, so I think that's all we've got now in this table. So let's just say please subscribe, and if you want, go on to hashtag WatchWorldCup2014 to get news and subscribe so you don't miss any more episodes. All Soccer Shocker coming soon. I'm Oliver Eaton.
And I'm Corey Eaton.
Please watch the World Cup, see if our predictions are right. Goodbye.